Hey guys, it's Bobi aka Paginator, and we're jumping into our June TBR. Most of you who commented on my last TBR preferred the bingo type, so we're going to do this bingo board that I made, I want to say it was 2 summers ago maybe last summer, I don't remember. Let's give it a go. We're going to be doing 10 rolls unless I get multiple of 5, like 5, 10, 15, and so on. Those have a little signal on the card that I have to do another roll. We'll also be drawing one from my hat and doing one roll with these dice here. So could be 12 books, could be more. Let's see how it goes. First roll. Is anyone shocked that the ball went flying out of the way? Okay, so we got N45, and I have to say I have to stand kind of weirdly because of the way that the camera is if you want to see the bingo board. So 45 is not one of the numbers we have up here in the N column. There is way too many to like fit all on there. So I put a random number generator, and those were the 5 numbers in each column that got put on the board. So we'll still use the N45 prompt, but then if we can make a bingo during this summer, 5 in a row, some way, then it will turn into some kind of reward. So the bingo has to be with the board stuff, not the ones that aren't on the board. Does that make sense? Okay, so N45 is a book bought secondhand, and that little skull and crossbones means I have to add a roll. So we're already at 11 rolls. Oh boy. Okay, so number 1, we need a book that was bought secondhand, and I recently bought a couple copies of some Jane Austen books secondhand to read this summer, and I am going to be camping, which is what I wanted to do, was read Jane Austen while camping. So I'm going to take Pride and Prejudice. Roll number 2. I'm going to try to hold it so I can catch whatever comes out. Oh, 70. Did I seriously just get another one with a bonus roll? Good news is 70's on the board. It's just below this one that you can see here. So 70 is FOMO, Fear of Missing Out, a book that like you don't want to miss out on because you see everyone else talking about it. I have this gray 70, and that will go on the board to replace the colorful one, and that's how we'll know that we have used this number. Number 2, FOMO, a book that I got because I didn't want to miss out, and it was 100% had to be this one, Silver Elite by Danny Francis. This was my book of the month pick, and when I went to choose my books for book of the month, I just got this one, and they said, oh, it's a special edition, you get the sprayed edges and all this stuff, and I was like, I have to have it then. So I'm not even sure I know what this is about. Let's read the synopsis. It is the first in a dystopian romance series, so there's something. Let's see. Psychic gifts are a death sentence, and there are rules to survival. Trust no one, lie to everyone, and whatever you do, don't fall for your greatest enemy. Wren Darlington has spent her whole life in hiding, honing her psychic abilities and aiding rebel uprising, in small ways. On the continent, being modified means certain death, and Wren is one of the most powerful mods in existence. When one careless mistake places her in the hands of the enemy and she's forced to join Silver Block, their most elite training program, she's finally handed the perfect opportunity to strike a devastating blow from inside their ranks. But training for Silver Block can be deadly, especially when you're harboring dangerous secrets and living in close quarters with everyone who wants you dead. As the stakes grow ever higher, Wren must prove herself, but that's easier said than done when your commanding officer is the ruthless and infuriating, irresistible Cross Redden, who doesn't miss anything when it comes to her. And as war rages between mods like her and those who aim to destroy them, Wren must decide just how far she's willing to go to protect herself and how much of the continent is worth saving. Blech, that was a mouthful of words. My back already hurts, and it's really hot in my office. And we have so many more to go. Okay, it's already spit out another ball. And it says I-28. Here's the card for I-28, and it is 5-star prediction. Roll number 3 is a 5-star prediction, and I had to go with Abby Jimenez. Her new book is Say You'll Remember Me. I picked this up at Walmart yesterday, actually, and good timing, because I have given all of her books that I've read so far 5 or 4.5 stars, so this is a good chance that, you know, could be a 5-star. There might be no such thing as a perfect guy, but Xavier Rush comes disastrously close. a gorgeous veterinarian giving Greek god vibes, all while cuddling a tiny kitten? Immediately, yes. That is until Xavier opens his mouth and proves that even sculpted gods can say the absolute wrong thing. Of course, there's nothing Samantha loves more than proving an asshole wrong. Unless, of course, he can admit he made a mistake. But after one incredible and seemingly endless date, possibly the best in living history, Samantha is forced to admit the truth, that her family's in crisis and any kind of relationship would be impossible. Samantha begs Xavier to forget her, to remember their night together as a perfect moment, as crushing as that may be. Only no amount of distance or time is nearly enough to forget that something between them, and the only thing better than one single perfect memory is to make a life and even a love worth remembering. I'm going to show you the end papers on this one because this is going to give us a clue. There's science-y technology things happening here. Or was that was a disco ball at the top? Maybe not. I'm confused. Roll number 4. B13. B13 is priority shelf. So a book that's been a high priority for me lately. Roll number 4 is a book from my priority shelf. And I have this book here, Witch Lore. It is by Emma Hines, and I got an advanced reader's edition in a Goodreads giveaway, and I really want to read it soon because I like to submit my reviews quickly to help show that I'm grateful for receiving review copies and such. So this I did haul in a recent video, but maybe you didn't see that one, or if you did, you can listen to the synopsis again. At Demdike College of Witchcraft, Orlando is an outcast, not just for being the only shapeshifter in a college of witches, not just for being a really bad shapeshifter with no control over their magic or when their body switches between male and female forms, but because their girlfriend Elizabeth died and it was Orlando's fault. Then charming new boy Bastian arrives with a proposition. He knows a spell that can raise Elizabeth from the dead. It's dangerous, but Lando will try anything. But as Lando's attraction to Bastian grows, questions will start to arise. Who's Bastian? What does he really want? And who will survive the resurrection spell? Roll number 5. 062. 062 is cover matches outfit. I have my black and white Beatles shirt on, so I need something black and white. Roll 5 is an outfit match, and I have a book that's got a lot of black and white on it, a bit of silver. This is Silver in the Bone by Alexandra Bracken. It says, Tamsin Lark didn't ask to be a hollower. As a mortal with no magical talent, she was never meant to break into an ancient crypts or compete with sorceresses and cunning folk for the treasures inside. But after their thieving foster father disappeared without so much as a goodbye, it was the only way to keep herself and her brother Cabell alive. 10 years later, rumors are swirling that her guardian vanished with the powerful ring from Arthurian legend. A run-in with her rival Emrys ignites Tamarin's hope that the ring could free Cabell from a curse that threatens both of them, but they aren't the only ones who covet the ring. As word spreads, greedy hollowers start circling, and many would kill to have it for themselves. While Emrys is the last person Tamsin would choose to partner with, she needs all the help she can get to edge out her competitors in the race for the ring. Together they dive headfirst into a viper's nest of dark magic, exposing a deadly secret with the power to awaken ghosts of the past and shatter her last hope of saving her brother. Again, beautiful cover, silvery sprayed edges. Oh, I stuck a bookmark in there. A magnetic sloth bookmark. Did I try to read this before, or did I just put the bookmark in there? I don't know. Roll number 6. 067. 067 is adventure. Roll number 6 is an adventure, and we're going to go with Dark Whispers by Vashti Hardy. This is part of the Brightstorm Adventure series. It is a sequel, and I think I put this on my TBR before and not gotten to it, but I want to just talk about the first one. We have some twins, Arthur and Maudie Brightstorm, and they have this nemesis. I can't really say who the nemesis is because I might spoil things in the first book, but on the first one, they're off on this explorer skyship and have some adventure. Maybe they're going to go up against their old nemesis again and have a new adventure, and this one is going to be, looks like, in the jungle, kind of a jungly looking cover anyway. Sorry, I can't tell you much more about that. Roll number 7. We have I-17. I-17 is Cabbage Pot. Roll 7, we got Cabbage Pot, so we have to draw from the hat. I'll be drawing from the hat later just to do my regular draw from the hat, because I decided I'm going to draw once a month. I could technically count this draw as that one, but since it's summer, I'm going to try to torture myself with more books. Alright, here's the lovely hat. I haven't updated this in a while, so there could be some that I've unhauled or already read, that kind of thing. Let's see. That is an unhaul. Oh, this is part of a series, so I need to get, it's from the Mirror Visitor series by Christelle Davos, and I pulled number 4, but I don't think I've read number 3 yet. Let me check my shelves. Okay, so I was right. I have read 1 and 2, but not 3, so I can't read number 4 yet. So this is number 3, The Memory of Babel, and this is another series I can't tell you a whole lot about. In the first one, our main character, she can touch things and sense their history, like know their history, and she also has some other powers, and she got caught up in this marriage that she didn't exactly plan on, and there's a lot of political intrigue, court drama, that kind of stuff. Court as in like royal court. Kind of things. It's a really, really wonderful series, so I'm excited to be jumping back into it. I love the first 2, so I'm sure I'm going to enjoy the next one. You know, I'm realizing that I said The Memory of Babel because that's how Jade from J.D. Ray Reid says this, but it could be Babel or Babel, like in the Bible, the Tower of Babel, as I've heard it said several ways. Who knows? Roll number 8. O63. We have a lot of O's. Here's one from the board. O63 and randomize your TBR. Number 8, randomize your TBR. So I have got TBR pulled up on Goodreads, and I'm going to hit a random number generator 3 times, and then we'll find that number in my list. And here we go. Okay, number 177. I have scrolled through my list, and number 177 is this book right here. The Stolen Prince of Cloudburst, Jacqueline Moriarty. This is part of a series of Bronte Meadowstone adventures. You can read them individually, so I will read the synopsis on this. This is middle grade. Of course, I had to get a chunky one, because of course I did. Let's see. Esther is a middle child sandwiched between 2 talented sisters, but she doesn't mind being ordinary. She's just excited to be reunited with her best friends when term begins. On arriving at boarding school, she discovers changes afoot. Her friends have disappeared, and a new teacher has arrived, wildly rumoring to be an ogre. Then life becomes dangerous. The mountains around the school are crowded with evil shadow mages, and everyone who might be able to help is strangely absent. So it's left to middle child Esther to act, but is she simply too ordinary to be extraordinary? So the Bronte Middlestone books, the first one is about Bronte Middlestone, and then the second one is about another group of kids, but Bronte kind of shows up as a side character. It's kind of more like a anthology cast kind of series. Is that the right term for it? I don't know. Roll number 9. Ball went rolling again. N33 is past Sharkathon prompt. Okay. I'm going to have to get out my documents. Roll number 9 was a past Sharkathon prompt, and I opened up my Sharkathon prompts from last year, and the very first one listed is Cat Shark, a book with an interesting cover. Now, interesting, not necessarily beautiful, and I took that thought with me. So I got this one, and you might actually see this featured in a video that comes out later, because of scheduling videos. They have to do them in weird order sometimes. This is Pull of the Stars. It is by Emma Donoghue, and I'm going to read the synopsis. I just thought the cover was interesting because we have this very like historical looking lady like in a nurse's uniform, but then we have these little stars sparkled all over. It's interesting to me anyway. In an Ireland doubly ravaged by war and disease, Julia Power works as a nurse at an understaffed hospital in the city center where unexpected mothers who have come down with a terrible new flu are quarantined together. Into Julia's regimented world step 2 outsiders. Kathleen Lynn, a doctor rumored to be a rebel on the run from the police, and Bridie Sweeney, a young volunteer helper. In the darkness and intensity of this tiny ward over 3 days, these women change one another's lives in unexpected ways. They lose patience to the baffling pandemic, but they also shepherd new life into a fearful world with tireless tenderness and humanity. Carers and mothers alike somehow do the impossible work. So it looks very interesting. The author, Emma Donoghue, wrote the book Room, which I think was made into a movie as well. And she also wrote, let's see what if I can read the covers on the back that show her other work are tiny. Astray, Frog Music, The Wonder, and Akin. I haven't read anything by her, but I mean, this should be interesting. Rule number 10. B9. B9, a number in the title. For rule number 10, we need a book with a number in the title, and we're going to do a book that I'm pretty sure was also on a previous TBR that I never got to. It is The 13th Child by Aaron A. Craig. I tried to get the sticker off of it, and it just didn't go well. It was a Barnes & Noble exclusive content sticker. But let's read about it. Hazel Trespass has always known she wasn't like her siblings. A 13th child promised to one of the gods, she spends her childhood waiting for her benefactor, Merrick, the god of death, to arrive and take her away. When he does, he lays out exactly what he's planned for Hazel's future. She will become a great and celebrated healer. To aid her endeavors, Merrick blesses Hazel with a gift, the ability to instantly deduce the exact cure needed to treat the sick. But all gifts come with a price. Hazel can see when death has claimed a patient and is tasked with ending their suffering permanently. Haunted by the ghosts of those she's killed, Hazel longs to run, but destiny brings her to the royal court where she meets Leopold, a rakish prince with a disdain for everyone and everything, and that's where Hazel faces her biggest dilemma yet. Should she save the life of a king marked to die? Hazel knows what she is meant to do and what her heart is urging her toward, but what will happen if she goes against the will of death himself? I think I know why I never got around to this, because the character's name is Hazel. That's my grandma's name that died a few months ago. And that probably got into my head, but I'm dealing with that much better now. Okay, roll 11. Another O. O69. O69 is graphic novel or manga. Roll 11 is a graphic novel or manga, and I have a manga series that I've been slowly working my way through, which is Zelda Twilight Princess. I've only read the first 2 volumes, but we have volume 3 here, and we're going to pick up on that. It's been such a long time since I read the first 2. I remember Link was on a journey wanting to get... He needed power to save the kingdom, right? I don't know. You guys probably know this way better than I do because Zelda is super famous. But anyway, we're going to continue the series of Link and Zelda Twilight Princess. Rule number 12. B5. This was going to be our last roll and we have to do another one. Okay, this one's on the board. B5. Read a sequel. Roll 12 is a sequel. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. I got another chunky one. Stranger Skies by Pascal Lassalle. This is the sequel to Curious Tides. And do I have the first one? Yeah, I have the first one right here. I'm just going to grab it and read that synopsis to you. So this is the first one, Curious Tides. I will read this synopsis, but the sequel is what I'm going to be reading this month. Emery might be a student at the prestigious Aldrin College for Lunar Magics, but her healing abilities have always been mediocre at best, until a treacherous night in the Dovermere Sea caves kills a group of her classmates and leaves her as the only survivor. Now Emery is plagued by strange impossible powers that no healer should possess. Powers that would ruin her life if the wrong person were to discover them. To gain control of these new abilities, Emery enlists the help of the school's most reclusive student, Baz, a boy already well versed in the deadly nature of darker magic, whose sister happened to be one of the drowned students and Emery's best friend. Determined to find the truth behind the drownings of the cult-like secret society she's convinced her classmates were involved in, Emery is faced with even more questions when the supposedly drowned students start washing ashore alive, only for each to immediately die a horrible and magical death. And Emery is not the only one seeking answers. When her new magic captures the society's attention, she finds herself drawn into their world of privilege and power, all while wondering if the truth she's searching for might lead her right back to Dovermere to face the fate she was never meant to escape. When I read this book, the author was so good at writing scenes visually, so you could like picture them in your mind, like using lots of sensory details and interior monologue of the characters and all that stuff. It was just like phenomenal. So I can still picture scenes and things in my head from this, and it's been ages since I read it. This should be our last roll, but I have thought that before. N43. Another one from the board. And yes, I realize I have not replaced the B5 from over here. Oops. And 43, a signed book. Ooh, Roll 13 is a signed book. I don't have any in-person signed books that I haven't read, but I have some signed books from Fairy Loot and stuff, so I grabbed my most recent Fairy Loot book, which is The Glittering Edge by Alyssa Valère. Here is the synopsis. The locals of Idlewood whisper a tragic love story that began a decades-long blood feud. For as long as anyone can remember, the DeLuca witches and wealthy Baron family have been sworn enemies, ever since the curse that changed their fates forever. Now if a Baron falls in love with you, you'll die. But when Penny Emberley's mother becomes the curse's latest victim, Penny must bring together two bitter rivals, Alonzo and Corey, in order to save her mom's life and stop the feud for good. But as the trio navigates unpredictable magic, the tangled web of their family histories, and complicated attractions, it becomes clear that there are more than dark secrets at play. Can Penny find a way to break the curse without losing her heart in the process? Alright, now, I told you we were going to do a hat pull. I decided to do one of these each month, and even though one of the prompts is also a cabbage pot, which is this, we're going to do one anyway, and roll the wooden dice as well. So, let's give this a good little mix around and grab a piece of paper. Read that one. We'll go through. We'll find another one. Read that one. This might take a bit. Ooh, I don't think I've read this one. So we have The Haunting by Natasha Preston. I will double check in Goodreads and make sure I haven't already read it, but as long as I haven't, that will be the book. And if not, then we'll draw again in a little bit once we come back to talk about the other books. Okay, so our hat pull, I did double check. I have not read The Haunting. It is right here in my hand. Here is the synopsis. Penny knows she must forget about her ex, Nash. Ever since his father was revealed as the brutal serial killer who traumatized their small town last Halloween, Penny's parents have forbidden her to have anything to do with Nash or his family. It's hard not to think of him, but she's trying. That stops when she goes shopping with friends or for a costume. What she finds instead is a ripped from a horror movie, someone from school bleeding out on the floor of a dressing room, stabbed. People are quick to blame Nash and his sister Grace, but as Halloween nears and the body count rises, Penny can't help thinking this copycat killer is someone no one else suspects. So, would this maybe be better suited for spooky season? Perhaps, but are we going to read it this summer? Yes. You guys, the stack of books for this month is absolutely freaking ridiculous because I have 15 books and a lot of them are chunky, and we still have one more book to get to. I've got my wooden dice set here that I got at Barnes & Noble, and I also decided to do one of these rolls each month. So one is a genre and one is a location to get the book. I'm going to roll these off camera because my back is so sore. I can't go through another camera setup right now, so you're going to have to trust me. TBR pile and fantasy or sci-fi. Okay, so the dice tell us we need a book from our TBR pile and a fantasy or sci-fi, and I'm going to do a book that has literally been on my TBR pile or shelf for years. An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. I know, I never read it. I know, there's like a whole series, and this is like the original cover for before they redesigned the covers. Like, that's how long I've had this book. It's been ages. Now, let's read the synopsis. Leia is a slave, Elias is a soldier, neither is free. Under the Martial Empire, defiance is met with death. Those who do not vow their blood and bodies to the Emperor risk the execution of their loved ones and the destruction of all they hold dear. It is in this brutal world inspired by ancient Rome that Leia lives with her grandparents and older brother. The family ekes out an existence in the Empire's impoverished back streets. They do not challenge the Empire. They've seen what happens to those who do. But when Leia's brother is arrested for treason, Leia is forced to make a decision. In exchange for help from rebels who promise to rescue her brother, she will risk her life to spy for them from within the Empire's greatest military academy. There, Leia meets Elias, the school's finest soldier and secretly the most unwilling. Elias wants only to be free of the tyranny he's being trained to enforce. He and Leia will soon realize that their destinies are entwined and that their choices will change the fate of the Empire itself. I have 2 stacks of books on the table in front of me, and I'm going to see if I can hold them all up. They're not going to all fit in frame, but let's see. I'm going to drop the stack that's on that side. I will be drowning in books in June, and that's okay, because school will be out. And I get to go travel and see my family, and I get to do some camping, and a whole bunch of reading, and probably some crafting and thrifting and all that stuff. So make sure that you are subscribed and hit the notification button so you can see what comes for me this summer. And in the meantime, have a wonderful, magical, and bookish day. Happy reading. Adios.